segment of Patreon has been brought to you by Staples. Staples. We just print your shit when we say we're going to print it. It's a little pricier than Walmart, but trust us. Come do business with Staples.
Don't ever use Walmart photo. Gonzalez family, wherever you are, I wish you the merriest of Christmases.
And
Feliz
Staples,
Navidad.
sponsor the show.
Please.
This episode is made possible by our therapy partners, Dirty B, Myra, and Pickett. From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. Broadcasting from the churn, that's Jim. I'm Nick. It's time for some Pod Therapy.
Hi, y'all. Pew, pew, gun, bullet, bullet.
No Whitney this week, so we will be discussing
pants.
all of the things that really could use a female perspective.
Yes, we have harvested all the lady questions.
Now,
First one, what to do when I'm on my menstrual cycle? If you're
I
wondering,
can't find a parking spot at my OBGYN.
what would you guys do? If you're wondering, hey, how do I solve my middle-aged back pain and neck pain? Patreon.com/therapy. Nick actually had good advice. Yeah. That was very interesting to me. I didn't know that this hunch that I have could be fixed.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that you could just work out and that will go away.
Yeah.
Why doesn't yours go away?
You can also just stop being the guy at the church that rings the church bells.
Yeah.
Just get a different gig.
Well, I'll tell you, the reason why mine doesn't go away, it's getting better, I think. But my whole thing is that I absolutely hate stretching.
Oh.
It's just boring to me, and I don't like doing it.
Okay.
It's a weird
so I need to do it.
Yeah, it's
I
a
know.
weird line to draw.
I know. But I need to do that more often. But like hip flexors, I stretch those every day I go in to work out and exercise.
Okay.
I've got a low back stretch that I do every day.
All right, so you're working on it.
I am working on it. It's
Huh.
just, it takes a long time.
Should you get one of those things that you put on the ground and you lay on and it's like a little...
A roller?
Yeah. Should you do that?
Foam roller.
Those are great.
I have
Yes.
one.
I mean,
I have
foam.
one.
I've seen them with
Yes.
little spikes on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've got a foam roller.
They're all made of foam, Jim.
Oh, even the one with the spikes?
Yeah. Oh, are you thinking of a medieval mace?
Yeah.
Don't get one of those.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That won't help your back at all.
That wasn't the one? Okay, yeah,
No.
that's not good.
Foam rolling is great. It's self-myofascial release is what it's called.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
I like to do full
but the problem-
self-myofascial release.
Sometimes I like to do it in the shower.
Yeah.
But the problem is you can't, it's dangerous to do that. It's not good to do it on your lower back
No, it's not.
or underneath your joints. So you wouldn't want to roll behind your knees.
Okay.
You wouldn't want to roll your low back. I roll my upper back all the time,
What
especially
are you doing? Because I don't think you're doing what I think you're doing.
Yeah.
What does it mean? What do you...
to roll.
You just lie on it.
You lie on it.
Oh, well then that is what I thought.
Yep.
You're not supposed to do that on your lower back?
No, you don't want to do it on your low back.
You know the song "They See Me Rolling"?
Yes.
It has very specific directions
They
on how to
hate
do
it.
it in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trolling,
If you listen
trying
to all
catch
the
me
verses of that,
riding dirty.
Yeah.
it's don't put the roller under your joints, especially don't put it under your knees.
Don't put it under your knees.
Yep.
Gender expectations and family dynamics. Hey, Pod Therapy crew. Quick update and thank you from a previous question. A few months ago, I wrote in about boundary issues on a volunteer organization board where I am the vice president.
Yes.
Remember this? I believe Jacob's advice was burn it all down, which is also usually his advice, apparently.
Yes, we assumed.
Show me when it doesn't work.
We assumed that she was involved in that sport where you jump on a horse as it dives off of a platform into a pool of water.
That was it. Yeah.
I believe we found that was correct, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think they wrote
For all
back
I
in.
care it was.
Yeah.
I so appreciated your advice. After a conversation with the president of the organization and a shift in how I run meetings, things are much better, even though she is still difficult to deal with. Oh yeah, there was that bitch that was really mean to her all the time. Another
because you were telling her to quit the board.
Yeah, no, that was I was on fuck
this one.
Yes.
I remember this one now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was on team fuck that noise.
Yeah,
Get out.
definitely.
Leave, let them drown. Anyway, apparently the writer did not do that. Things are much better, even though she is still difficult to deal with. Another thank you for the commentary on my question and rant from Discord about the values imposition issues as therapists. I've loved Jim's 7 Deadly Sins series so far, and I'm looking forward to the rest. Oh, thank you.
Especially the pictures of that sloth.
Yeah.
They're adorable.
It's weird that God just hates them.
Yeah.
It's so strange. Of
Thou
all the
shalt
things,
not sloth.
Just that one. Fuck the sloths in particular. My question is how to deal with gender norms in family dynamics. My husband and I purchased a house last December and got married this October. Oh, congratulations. Nice. It seems like things have gone pretty well as we have gotten used to splitting responsibilities around the house and adjusting to married life. We're both pretty busy. He works a typical professional 8 to 4 and has some hobbies. I'm a full-time therapist in a private practice, as well as working part-time jobs at a police department, and I'm in a doctoral program for counselor education and supervision. And I volunteer for that organization I mentioned before, and I'm training to compete with Tonka, my wonderful therapy pony, who doubles as my show horse, at a national level of competition, which involves fitness for myself as well as training with Tonka. We have some minimal home maintenance we pay for people to do as finances allow, but new home ownership is a financial strain. One such thing we split fairly well is kitchen responsibilities. I cook dinner nearly every night, make lunches, including baking the bread for sandwiches, and grocery shop. He does dishes and keeps the kitchen clean and functional. We do not nag each other if something isn't done, as we both know who does what unless we on occasion help each other out. Last weekend, his father came to help him with a project while I was at work. There were dirty dishes in the sink spilling over onto the counter. I had just finished final papers and projects for 2 classes, and he was working late the few days before, so dishes had not been a priority. I thought nothing of it until I noticed my husband was very irritated the rest of that day and into the next. When I asked, he mentioned that his father had made a comment that, well, looks like Em isn't much of a homemaker, is she? He immediately jumped. He immediately jumped to remind him of
He immediately jumped out the window and ran away.
He immediately jumped to remind him of all that I do, which his father said, oh, yeah, okay. While I know nothing malicious was meant by this, I was still very irritated at the comment. My husband and I have talked about this, and all is good there. The more time that has passed, instead of it becoming less of a big deal, I've become more and more irritated and angry. I have since realized that this is not the first time he has said something like this, such as when he assumed I could direct a furniture delivery since I just worked from home that day, and not understanding I cannot just pop in and out of therapy sessions. Even when I explained, he didn't get it, and I ended up having to have my parents come help while I worked from their house. I've realized that there are clearly some gender norm type expectations here. I know I cannot do all the things. Trust me, I've tried. A piece of the issue comes in that his other daughter-in-law does absolutely nothing around the house or work-wise, including taking care of 3 kids, to the point of the marriage coming to an ugly end over it. It's not within my values to start some family drama over this, but I'm also trying to figure out if this is better addressed now versus letting it become a big problem. Or am I being dramatic? Do I do anything or let it go? How do I become comfortable with the idea that these expectations are being placed on me to do the work of a stay-at-home wife on top of working plus my professional life and career feel very undervalued? Am I guessing this will only get worse when we have kids? I am so curious what all of your different views, thoughts, and opinions will be. Thanks, everybody. M. This is an interesting one.
Well, Whitney's not here, so we're just going to have to guess what Whitney would say.
It's too bad we don't have a female therapist in the room who may also experience exactly what Em experienced.
We should look into that.
Yeah. I'll bet you we could find one. Yeah. And it's not like they're busy.
Actually, Em, you want a job?
Yeah. Also, the churn could use some tidying.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh,
good night, everybody. That is all the time we've got for the series. We had fun.
Okay, so because it sounds like, did I miss it, or was M's new husband kind of on the same page?
I think they're on the same page.
Sounds like they're like it. So
I think
really
he's stuck
kind of
up
seems
for it,
like,
too.
so it kind of seems like the issue is more with the in-laws.
Yeah,
expectations.
Especially the father-in-law.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of wondering if anything really needs to be done with it at all.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting because, nice catch. I think that the father, if you're wondering what the hell's going on in here, we're passing back and forth a bottle
Don't worry
opener.
about it.
Yeah, this is why we need to just put everything on Twitch.
This is why Whitney needs to be here.
Yeah, I know. It's so fucking unsupervised.
No, so she can hand this back and forth.
Oh, She wouldn't hand us open beers? Is that what you're implying? She would give us the bottle of, good night, everyone. Oh, Whitney, I'm really hoping you're not listening to any of this. We really like having you on the show. Please come back. What were we talking about? Okay, so yeah, I think the father-in-law.
I mean, I say horrible things all the time.
Yeah, but you draw the line here.
Don't get on your high
casual
horse.
sexism. He will not tolerate. You said horrible shit in the Patreon.
Probably. I don't even remember. I've already forgotten about it.
Blacked out.
Yeah,
you know it.
We've offended Jacob. Yeah, that's funny.
Boy, you hit that line. Kill yourself. So, okay, in this one, I think that writer, first off, I totally get that people definitely misunderstand what we do generally as therapists, but especially if you're, primarily telehealth, which you and I both are in this scenario. I know exactly what you mean, because there's that idea of like, oh, well, you're home anyway, right? So you just do things. It's like, I'm not home. Like, I am in a little bubble called clinical psychotherapy where I cannot fucking do anything. Like, I'm not answering a phone. I can't do anything. Like, I'm in the moment. So I definitely understand what you mean when people just do not get what we do. But I also think
I think that's more than just even therapists. I think it's kind of this work from home mentality that people have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because people imagine when we say work from home, it's like, okay, well, I'm free to get up and do whatever I want whenever I want to do it. And some people do have that luxury where they can, but like, I'm thinking like my job, Laura's job, we both work from home, but there's like, sometimes we have to coordinate things, if a handyman's coming to fix something, it's like, well, I've got calls from this time to this time, and she's got calls from this time to this time, and so
you can't just stop those.
Exactly.
Well, when Laura's probably like, hey, when are you busy? Because that's when I'm scheduling the pool boy. And then you're like, but we don't have a pool. And then you realize you need a pool.
You know what? I hadn't caught on to that until just right now.
Well, I'm sure she has one of those inflatable pools.
Yeah.
Those are nice. So you got to tame yourself somewhere.
Right.
But I do think it's kind of like a generational thing to some extent, because I'm sure that the father-in-law obviously is going to be older than the writer. Right. And the work from home concept probably doesn't fully settle in. They may not have an understanding of therapy. But then this little piece of like just making these little digs of like, oh, your wife's not much of a homemaker. And it's like, I definitely look at that and think that's probably a generational thing.
Well, not only that, I have two issues with that.
Okay.
Number one, I think is kind of excusable, which is a generational thing like you're saying, as in like, okay, well, this is the woman's job. This is what she's responsible for. I get that. That's kind of where his generation came from.
Right.
The other thing that bothers me about that is like, why would you even say it?
Right. Shut the fuck up. Your house is messy.
Yeah.
Like, why do you need to comment, Dad?
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to say? Like, I've had a similar thing that I think was generational in our extended family, where men of that generation, my father's generation, would make little comments just about the women of my generation in the family and ask them to do certain things, or like, hey, I'm buying a new apartment. Do you think you could come decorate it for me? And like the men in our family that are my age being like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, did you just ask somebody to stop everything they're doing and go to a store, buy fucking decorations, and then come design your entire pad because they have a vagina? Like, you're pathetic for needing. Anyway, I definitely think that there's a generational gap here. And I think that kind of like,
it's always no if you don't ask the question.
That's true. You got to put it out there.
Yep.
Do we need to challenge it? I don't love it, for several reasons. One, I think it's more trouble than it's worth.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think the return on investment's very low. But two, you guys recently just got married, so you just got hitched officially in October. And so this is something where
December, I think.
Well, they bought the house in December, but they married in October. So they've lived together for about a year.
I think it was reverse.
Might be. But either way,
bought the house last December, got married this October.
There it is. And so, I think that this is all relatively recent. And as M points out, the comparison is to a pretty negative counterexample, right? Like M's sister-in-law is a very disappointing human being, like all around, to the point where, there's going to be a divorce and people don't even like their parenting skills.
Look at us. We're even talking about how disappointing she is.
I'm disappointed in her. So I can appreciate that from the father-in-law's perspective. He's got some kind of like, I'm kind of leery about this kind of stuff because I've witnessed like
He might think he's nipping something in the bud here.
Or he's bringing it up. He's worried about his other son, right?
Yeah.
He's worried his one son had a bad marriage. That person really dropped the ball in every area of life and was kind of freeloading. And maybe dad is like nervous and just bringing it up here. Your husband handled it the right way, which I think was to push back and say, Dad, no, here's how it works in our family. But my point about you guys being recently married, I think that over time, the rest of the family acclimatizes to your family's normal. And by your family, I mean your household. That's how they learn. They visit, they interact with you, they come have dinner with you. They get the feel of how you do things, and they notice, oh, you both get up and do the dishes. Oh, you both cook. Oh, okay, this is happening. And that's how they start to figure out.
And they're just going to get used to it.
Yes.
They're just going to get used to how your family works.
No need to talk about it.
Yeah.
I think that they just pick it up through proximity at some point.
Yeah. And I always like the method of when someone kind of casually insults you like that, to just laugh at them like they're a ridiculous person.
Exactly. Yeah. Not to call it out. Don't make it bigger than it needs to be. Laugh like they've said something silly.
Oh, you silly old man.
That's it. Yeah, if you can kind of chuckle. Yeah.
Old man.
Yeah.
You
probably we used to be like that. You're probably right.
It do be like that, Pop.
Yep.
Yeah. What's funny? I don't know if you guys relate to this. But like that generational difference. So in growing up in my family, my mom was very Southern. And so in that culture, it was very normal for the women to just always be on their feet. The men would all end up in a living room somewhere talking, having a beer, and the women were running around cooking, bringing tea, and that, that's probably not great. I'm sure they didn't sign up for it, but that's what I, as a little kid, witnessed and saw. And I remember growing up, my dad was just, he did not know how to cook anything. He did not ever clean anything. He never did anything with the kids, tidy up our bedrooms or help us do something. He went to work, he came home, had his little space, and that was it. And I'm pretty sure that was what was common, in that generation. And that was one of the biggest things that I had to, I think, have an awakening going through my parenting and my life was no, what the fuck? I'm not just going to sit here and do nothing. I feel terrible. No, we should all just do shit. And you get into that and you realize this is how it should be. Why was it ever not like this? Why are we not all just doing shit? We all live here. But
I remember one
definitely
time
a generational gap.
I was a kid. I was probably in 5th grade, and it was just Dad and I home for 2 days.
Okay.
And I don't
2
remember
days of mac and cheese.
Yeah, no. You beat me to it. It was mac and cheese. So I had to make dinner because he was working late, so he came home, and so I made mac and cheese, and he's like, there's no meat. So I put pepperoni in the mac and cheese.
Right, of course, gourmet.
Fine.
It's there we go. Problem solved.
Yeah.
I remember I'm 8 years
I'm just going to say,
older.
if you did a tray of mac and cheese and put a bed of pepperoni on top of it and just put that whole thing in the oven.
Sounds really good.
I bet that'd come out real good.
I believe you just described
crisp up that
Ratatouille.
pepper. Maybe.
I think that's Ratatouille.
It might be.
I remember my sister's 8 years younger than me, and I remember when she was in diapers, one day my mom went out to go get her hair done or something like that, and Dad was supposed to be babysitting us. And I did not see him the entire time. Until my little sister, I realized she had shit herself and the diaper was overloaded. And I was like, Dad, you need to change your diaper. And he was like, no, we're just going to leave it. And when your mom gets home, she'll do it. And I remember at 8 years old being
take the diaper off.
Jesus, man, that's your child. And I remember being this isn't okay. And so I changed my little sister's diaper, solved that. And my mom got home. She's and she praised my dad. And she was like, oh, wow, great job. I see it. And he was like, oh, no, Jimmy did that. And Mom was like,
hey, at least he didn't take credit for it.
He didn't take credit. He's like, oh, Jimmy did that. And then she was fucking
Jim's dad
furious.
Is the good guy in this story.
She's like, you made our 8-year-old son change his little sister's diaper. And she came to me. She's like, how did you do it? Just making sure I didn't fuck this up. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm very confused.
That's how Jim's little sister lost both of her legs due to lack of blood flow.
Sedentary. Oh, man. But yeah, the generational gap here, I think, is to blame. And I think it's
do you have any household chores that are outside of the gender stereotypical?
I mean, we have our regular routines that we each kind of do, but we also have a little bit of so we have different seasons of the year because my spouse works in education, right? So she gets to take off with the kids during those classic breaks. So the deal in our world is when the school year is on, we each have chores. And so we're each doing random chores. And a lot of the chores are assigned based on personality. Like I tend to be a night owl. So anything that has to do with running errands, get out of the house, go get something, that's me. I'll do it. I don't mind. It's fine. And she hates leaving the house. So like we have like a really good sense there. And like, she's more of a morning person. So things that'll go in that bucket, she'll do. But for the most part, she probably definitely has the majority. Like I would say it's probably a 65-35 split, but I also work longer than her. And so like my work hours stop me from having as much access to the house. So, but then during the summer breaks, she takes 90%. So like once she's off for the, the breaks or she's off for Christmas or whatever, she's like, hey, just I am on vacation. I will do these chores. Your vacation is you don't have to do some chores. Like, and that's what you get to do while you're still working. So how about you? Do you guys split them 50-50?
So here's what's weird. And I hesitate even bringing this up just in case Laura actually listens to this show.
Buddy, I don't think she does.
I don't think so either.
Not a threat.
But it's almost, but okay. I'm worried that she could.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to text her and then listen to this one.
And then it would disrupt this good thing that we've got going.
Whitney, don't you throw him under the bus.
So
you're the only one of us that has Laura's cell phone number.
Okay, so I've got 2 dogs.
Yeah.
I brought them into the relationship.
Yeah.
They're my dogs.
Well, until
we never really talked about this, but Laura just all of a sudden just kind of took on cleaning up the backyard.
Oh, okay.
Picking up all the dog doo.
Oh, it just happened.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
And she's just kind of taken on that responsibility.
You don't want to say anything because you don't want to jinx it.
So I do everything else.
Okay.
Like I'll do dishes, I clean, I'll vacuum, I'll dust.
Okay.
I do everything else.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to disrupt this thing that we've got going.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's like
you don't want to jinx it.
She just took that on. I didn't ask her to do it.
So
She's
you're just
doing it. So I'm like,
doing the rest.
I'm like, yeah, I will do whatever else.
Why are you against cleaning up the backyard? Because I think you're getting the worst end of this deal.
Oh, I'm not.
It takes her 30 seconds.
So. It does not take her 30 seconds.
Picking up the dog shit is pretty bad.
Well, not only that, but like we've got an area in the backyard where there's big rocks.
Oh,
and so it's not like
them out of the rocks.
Yeah, so it's not like just.
But she also likes to make chemicals.
She's an outdoor person. Like she likes gardening. She likes all that stuff too. Not that has anything to do with picking up dog shit, but whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's just kind of our.
I do believe that you are more tidy than people might just assume, just because of stereotypical guy thing. Because when we had our joint office in that apartment, we had an apartment together that was our office, or that's what we were telling the neighbors anyway. But yeah, we had like a shag carpet, and I remember I'd come back and you'd just be, cleaning. Like you kept it really tidy. Like you were vacuuming and you changed the air filters.
I'm not actually like that.
Oh, okay.
Because I will clean. Like I'll let things get really crazy, out of control, messy.
Okay.
And then I'll just do one huge deep clean, and I get everything nice and put away
for like a month.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
It's I let it's like snow. I'll let it pile up for a foot.
Yeah,
and then I clean it all deep.
You don't keep sweeping it away. What about at your house, Jacob?
We split it pretty evenly. Like I do probably most of the cooking in the house.
Okay.
SJ does the bulk of the laundry. We both kind of clean. She probably cleans a little more. She likes it a little cleaner than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I take care of the backyard. And we kind of split the dog poop picking up, I guess.
So you only pick up after one dog, and she picks up after the other.
We just follow each of them around.
Yeah, that's right. Nope, that one's yours. That's over there. That's not mine. Yeah. I will not have anything to do with that dog.
You can tell by the color because they eat different food.
Yeah. So you're also in charge of feeding
the texture and the smell, the taste, all of that.
That's
you can really distinguish.
The mouth feel. Yeah, that's how you know the difference.
When you step on it barefoot, you really
there's a little too much in this one. That's not my problem. Just scrape that off, and that's your problem.
Of course, the best thing about living in Las Vegas, possibly the very best
I know
thing,
exactly where you're going,
is when the dog takes a shit in the yard.
Yep.
It sits there for like an hour or two.
Yeah.
And it's completely dried out.
Bone dry.
And it's like you go out there and you pick up a little rock and you drop it in a plastic bag.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's 10 minutes tops that thing is dehydrated.
Yeah.
If it's in direct sunlight.
Right. Oh, yeah. During the summer.
Yeah. They're shitting on a frying pan.
Yeah.
Like that's what's happening. And it is instantaneously dry.
Yeah.
I miss dogs. I need to go foster a dog. Anyway, good luck with this. Definitely don't start nothing, won't be nothing. But yeah, I think also, you know, as long as your husband like helps his father understand, I don't think the man meant
I think
anything
over
by it.
time, you just teach them slowly. I think that's the best
Yeah.
approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and yeah, by demonstration.
Yep.
And obviously, you bring up a good point of the dad not, you know, having a good counterexample, and so maybe he's just concerned. Maybe that was a red flag that he saw in a different relationship, and he's just being a father, you know, and just asking about it. So I think you're taking it the right way, just kind of letting it go, and yeah, just, you know, maybe just try a little harder. I mean, would it kill you? You know, maybe those dishes don't pile up next time. It's not a problem. So. We're going to take a quick break and the show is over again. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about self-loathing over failing classes. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Robert Brownie, Jr. Mintz, Kayla Lansbury, Kevin Chamberlain, Ben Stanley, Adam Hathaway, Dan Martin, Liv, and Heyo. And if you want to sponsor the show, become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy. Okay. Because we're recording a double and I've had no time. Oh, I didn't even tell you how the site visit went today.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got to hear about the site visit.
Are we going to the bar after this?
No, it's going to be segment 2 of the show.
Yeah.
That's the next Patreon, I think.
All right. So I just got bar trivia
All right.
I like
that I pulled up quickly on my phone.
Get a good shot at this.
All right. Let's see. Oh, geez.
I actually
Okay.
was going to buy us a deck of like actual trivia cards. That would have been good.
I'm going to pick the ones that I know. What year did the first Star Wars come out in theaters?
Are we playing Prices Right?
Nope.
You just have to nail it?
Nail it.
Oh, come on, man. I wasn't even alive. You
like-
guys were.
70. No, we weren't. 77?
Huh. My dad was born in 69, and he remembers going 78. Fuck you.
It was 77.
All right.
Let me just verify that. 1977, yes. All right. Which play
Summer of 77.
did Billy Shakespeare write specifically for King James I?
Ooh. Was that the dude who killed all of his wives?
No, it's King.
No, he was a
That's
writer. He wrote like Romeo and Juliet.
No, the king.
Oh, the king.
No,
Oh,
that's,
this is the
Henry
King
VIII.
James Bible guy.
I believe so.
Yeah. I think this is the guy
Henry
who...
VIII is the guy with all the 6 wives, with Anne
That's
Boleyn
the
and people like that.
guy.
Yeah.
That dude. All right.
Wait,
so
what
he
was the
wrote-
question?
Which play did Shakespeare write specifically for King James I?
I mean, I have a degree in theater,
Shot in Dark.
Yep, that's why everybody's looking at you.
and I'm not sure why I would know this.
I want it to be Hamlet,
All right.
part 2.
King Lear, was that Shakespeare?
That's Shakespeare, yeah.
I'm going to go King Lear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll say, man, those are both fine guesses.
Also, I can name 2 more Shakespearean plays, and that is the end of my knowledge.
What other 2 could you name?
The Tempest
Uh-huh.
and Romeo and Juliet.
Okay. I will say, I'll guess Macbeth.
Ooh, A Midsummer Night's Dream
Okay.
is
Jim-
another play. That's not what I'm guessing.
Jim has guessed more Shakespeare plays.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, you're wrong on all of them. It's Macbeth.
It is Macbeth.
I said Macbeth.
You did not
You
say
did
Macbeth.
not.
What did I say?
Not
you
Macbeth.
said
Oh, I said Hamilton.
Hamlet.
You said Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton.
Oh, is that not it?
Hamilton.
What was it?
Hamlet
Oh, yeah.
is
that
what
one.
you said.
Yeah, that's not what
Yeah.
I meant.
All right. What is the city of Indianapolis's nickname?
The Big Apple.
Okay. That's
Okay.
Jim's guess.
Okay.
I don't know. Hoosierville. It should be Hoosierville.
It
Whatever the
should
real
be.
name is, it should be Hoosierville.
Nickname.
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
Appleus. It's the Big Apple.
We heard your guess, Jim.
City of Sunshine. I have no idea.
That's fucking not it. Tampa at best.
Hoosierville is a much better nickname.
Yeah, the Big Apple is New York City,
Oh,
by the way.
God damn it. That doesn't even
Circle.
sound like Apple.
The Circle City. I had no idea.
No, I have no.
Indianapolis, you should be ashamed of yourselves. I think that's dumb. I think the
I mean,
Circle
is it just
City,
shaped like is it round?
it's dumb.
Yes.
If it
All
is,
right.
that's still terrible.
Last one. What is the largest technology company in South Korea called?
Oh, Nokia.
Kia.
You taking Kia?
I'll say Kia.
I'm taking Nokia. Oh, shit. I'd like to change my answer. Samsung.
Ah, that's pretty good too.
Oh.
Yeah. I would like to finalize Samsung.
I'm going to say Sony, but I know that's Japanese.
Yeah.
It is Samsung.
Yay!
Okay.
Yeah, there you
I win a lot. I think I got 2.
In 1903, the first woman ever won the Nobel Prize. What was her name?
Marie Curie.
1903.
Nope. Trick question. In 1903, they didn't have names. I think you mean what was her husband's name?
Oh.
Mrs. Samuel Curie.
One episode without Whitney. That's what we get. It was Marie Curie.
Marie Curie.
Marie
Yeah.
Curie. What was she famous for, Nick?
I don't know. Mercury. The temperature.
That's not it. It's not even close.
What was she famous for, Jim?
I believe she invented the spectrometry of light.
She studied radiation.
There's that one too.
Yeah, that's also how she died.
Okay.
From long-term radiation exposure.
Dang.
Jacob's just going to be in Bummersville.
By the way, Indianapolis, not shaped like a circle. Just not at all.
Dumber. Look at that map. Doesn't look circular.
That's just
at
a
all.
regular old city.
This is stupid. I think you guys should take the apple thing. That's way better. Probably you grow apples. I don't think New York even grows apples. Self-loathing over failing classes. Dear Pod Therapy, I've been in college for a very long time. It's taken me a decade to try and get a bachelor's in computer science. Last
A lot of people go to college for 7 years. Yeah, they're called doctors.
Yeah. In fairness, I think if you went for a bachelor's in computer science over a decade, boy, has that curriculum
That
changed.
has changed.
They started.
They had to
with-
keep on retaking fucking basic classes is what happened here. I get it completely.
Yeah, I think the tech has probably outpaced the curriculum a little bit. Last semester, I took 2 courses, a capstone course and another course that's not important. I failed the capstone course and then tried to retake it by itself, and now it looks like I'm going to fail the course for the second time. I am so deeply ashamed of myself and overcome with fear, grief, and dread. I don't feel human, and I hate that it's taken me so long to do something other people have done in 4 or 5 years. I've gone back through the semester to try and see what I can learn from it, asking more questions, making more friends in the class, trying to turn things in as soon as they are assigned, getting feedback from other people on my design decisions, but I feel like I was really trying to do my best this semester. I have a job in the aerospace industry. It was kind of a big deal that I graduate this semester. I don't know that it will actually affect my standing at the company, but because I was expecting to graduate, I told people I was expecting to graduate. The same goes for my family, who were also excited for me to finally move on with my life. And then there's my friends, etc., etc. I feel like my life is both halves of a Titanic sinking deep into the ocean, work and school respectively, except this is the second time it's hit the exact same iceberg. Sorry for the long message. To the point, how do I get over hating myself for taking so long to graduate, having a horrible academic history, and self-sabotaging my own career? How do I stop being the guy who took 10 years to graduate? How do I deal with the career and social fallout because of this? I don't feel good about my own future because of who I am. Sincerely, the HMS Nimrod. Oof.
First of all, great name.
Yeah,
Feel
solid.
good about that name.
Yeah, feel good about landing 2 feet on the joke.
Yeah.
That was, the metaphor
done.
played. I thought you got it. Man, there's a lot of self-anger there, which on one hand, boy, I'll bet you we all relate to fucking something up a bunch of times and getting to a point where you're discouraged. I failed the therapy exam twice. That son of a bitch was really hard.
Never went back and retook it.
Never took it again. Decided, fuck this. I'm starting a podcast. Try to stop me. But no, I get it, man. I mean, whenever you're waiting for your life to begin and you're right there at the finish line and that's where you can't get on your feet and just cross over, that's super discouraging.
Yeah. So I guess one of the things that kind of sticks out to me is kind of hearing you, Ryder, talk about this. Just the way that you talk about your studies seems to be very saturated with your own negative thoughts about yourself. Like, you're talking about not just that you've been in school for a while, it's taken me 10 years to graduate. Why do I keep doing, and the whole way that you talk about it is very self-defeating, and it tells me that you already have a judgment on yourself to begin with. Probably more judgment on yourself than other people have of you.
I think that's true.
Because like,
Definitely.
I can pick up on this because I do the exact same thing with golf.
Yeah.
Okay.
You play golf?
Because with that, like, I have this idea of like these expectations that I put on myself, and the way that I view myself, I feel like is the same way other people view me.
Right.
And that's not accurate.
Which I think we're all guilty of that all the time.
Yeah. So when we make a mistake, we are very harsh judges of ourselves. We're like, God, I look like an idiot out there. I can't believe I did that. When in reality, no one else is really looking at that.
No one's thinking about you that much.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. If Jacob, not that this would ever happen, but if Jacob were to make a mistake running sound at Absinthe, he may feel like a complete idiot.
Nobody else would even notice it.
Exactly. 98% of the people in the audience
Honestly,
are not even going to notice it happen.
Because they are drunk.
Yeah,
they are very drunk.
Everybody's blackout high. But like,
true.
even
you could not show up.
Yeah.
And I don't think
people could speak on one of those toy microphones. It's like a karaoke mic. Like that's what they're using tonight.
Just so we're clear to my other employers, I'm very necessary to that show.
True. Yeah. Good fix.
Everything would fall apart instantaneously.
The roof would cave in. Everyone would die.
We know that the sound system would explode.
Yes.
And we know that because he's rigged it that way.
With a dynamite. Yeah. If he's not there to punch in the disarm code every day. Pay the man. No, but like even this part where it's like, oh man, it took me 10 years to get a computer science degree. It took you 10 years less to get your computer science degree than it took me because I don't fucking have one. You know, like I think that's still really impressive to be right there. I mean, I get you're retaking the capstone. I realize it sucks, and having to retake classes is always like a huge bummer, or having to go slower on it. Like I get it. Like, and I've had to do that too. Like I was a non-traditional student. Like I had classes that I sucked at and I had to do again. And like, it really sucked because some of them were uniquely difficult and they're just hitting all the wrong notes. And for whatever reason, I mean, I remember one of them for me was stats and research methods. God almighty, what a horrible class. And like, I relate to the writer because I remember thinking, I got it this time. Like, I understand this theory. I've got this sorted out. Like, I'm doing the math correctly. I've got this. And then getting the test back and being like, you got an F. Like, you're not even close.
Yeah.
And like to swing and hit nothing but air confidently is very bad. Because then afterward, you're like, oh my God, I don't even know where to begin to reconstruct this.
I mean, that's really like if you're playing baseball and you hit the ball and it goes over the fence, you jog around the bases, you get to home plate,
and then the
umpire's like, nah, you missed that ball. You're
really
out.
bad at this. Yeah, you did not know.
Yeah. Also, you went the wrong way around the bases.
Yeah, you also went the wrong way.
No, that's happened once where, like, I think it was in high school, where, like, you got these helmets on and you've got the ear flaps over both ears.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you're running, all you hear is...
yeah. And then they're like, hey, so come back.
Yeah, you hit a foul ball.
Yeah.
And you run all the way around the bases.
Yeah.
It's like...
Back to the plate, son.
Foul ball.
Strike one. Resume play. So, writer, I mean, it's
delay of game. You're out.
You're out. Yeah. You know what? Throw him out of the game. You're going to have this. No, but this is very relatable. And I agree with Nick. It's interesting how our perspective is so negative, which, again, I think you're entitled to feelings. I think you're entitled to disappointment. I don't want to take that from you. But I do want to right size it. And I want to notice the things that you are also accomplishing alongside the disappointment and disruption. Instead of you saying, hey, I completed 117 credits of my college degree and I'm struggling with that last 3 credit course, you're telling us I'm a piece of shit because that last 3 credit course has hit me. It's like, okay, buddy, but 117 are in the bank.
Yeah, well, and not only that, but like, I'll tell you exactly my first thoughts. Because I think you probably believe that when someone is listening to this, that they feel the same way that you feel.
We do not.
No, but yeah, the first thing that came across my mind as we were talking about this is, damn, that's persistence.
Yeah, way to go.
Like, you're still at it. You're still going for it. After 10 years, you're still doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, to kind of, to quote America's greatest philosopher, Rocky Balboa.
Yes.
You know,
in his
Adrian,
accent,
I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that's it.
Yeah. But in the movie Rocky Balboa, like, he's talking to his kid and he's like, you know, it's not about how hard you hit.
Right.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Like, how many times you can get punched and keep getting up and keep going. And so, like, as I'm hearing this, I'm hearing you say that you've had some setbacks. I'm hearing you say that you've had some big failures, but also you just keep going and you keep going at it. Like, I think that's admirable, you know, and that's, I think, you know, in the long run, that's going to mean something to you when you finally get this.
You know, and you're looking at this thing backward. You're looking at this thing and saying, oh man, it took me 10 years to complete this. And a lot of other people, it took them 4 years. Do you know what percentage of people drop out of college?
Oh, yeah.
And do not ever complete this? 10 years or any amount? 40%. 40% of all students who ever enter a college with the intent to graduate drop out completely and do not complete it. And again, that's not to shit on them, but writer, let's take a breath here, okay? You're already in the top 60% just for getting to this point. You're one last step over the line. And Nick's absolutely right. When you say, man, I'm retaking this class, I'm such a loser, I look at that shit and go, way to be a fucking baller and retake that class. Like, way to, like, take it on the chin twice. You're discouraged and you're like, fuck, let's go again. We're going for a third round. You know, let's keep it going. To have such grit and tenacity to finish this, 40% of people didn't ever get to this point. And you're about to get over that line. And yeah, it took 10, but fuck it, man. You're still in the top 60%. You're getting this done. And it's a very hard degree. Computer science, you know, is not some bullshit degree like religion, you know, that some asshole got. You know, like, that's easy. Computer science is hard, you know, like this. I mean, and we joked about how it was probably changing the whole fucking time. Religion didn't change. Like, yeah, the fourth year was no different than the first year. For you, a lot of shit was changing very, very rapidly. I just think it takes a lot of tenacity to have gotten this far.
So I think the first thing, to give you some advice and where to go from here, I think the first thing that we need to do is cognitively reframe this and to take this and look at this from a different light and different perspective, not beat yourself up over this, and to really look at your tenacity that you are demonstrating to complete this project. And then once we go through that, then I think we can start talking strategy. Then I think it's a good idea to take a look at, and it sounds like you've already kind of done this in some sense, where you're able to take a non-judgmental look at your successes and your failures.
Yes.
What have you learned? I've learned that when I study this way, it produces good results. When I do X, Y, and Z, I don't do as well. And to be able to do that honestly, and here's the key word, non-judgmentally.
Yes.
To take it and look at it with no emotion.
Yes.
And to just be able to say, this stuff is working for me, this stuff is not. How do I take this information? How do I take this data and apply it towards being successful in the next round?
Yes, I love that. And you know, I think the punchline here too is that coming through a curriculum of computer programming, preparing probably to become a coder or programmer, the entire career of those jobs, computer programming, coding, is just failing upward. Like, you just keep failing. The code doesn't work. You figure out what's not working. And then eventually you eliminate all the errors until you're left with something that actually functions. So the fact that you've basically done that for 10 years is itself an education. And I think that you've developed the exact skills and character and attitude that you are going to need in your career. And by the way, congratulations for working for a major aerospace company before you even finished your degree. Like, that counts for something too. A lot of people think like, oh, my life doesn't begin until I finish my bachelor's. Bullshit. A lot of people get their bachelor's and can't get a job because they were just students during that time. They have no real world experience.
Well, I mean, I got my bachelor's degree in 4 years.
Okay.
Because I had nothing else going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then whenever you graduate, they're like, great, sweep the fucking floors. You're like, damn it. And like, you know, this person's going to graduate, have 10 years probably in a career. You're already working for an aerospace company. And, you know, that company is, you know, excited for you to graduate because it sounds like they're ready to advance you And it's waiting for you. Like opportunity is waiting for you. Those are all material achievements. And you know what? Success delayed is not success denied. The fact that you are on the precipice of this, friend, you have come so far. And I just really hope that you are being challenged by our answers to revisit some of these perspectives. Are you disappointed? Yes, but you're not defeated. And the fact that you've overcome all these things and that you are already about to do something that, again, 40% of people who started the race couldn't even get to the finish line. It is tremendous that you're at this point. You're allowed to be discouraged. You're allowed to be defeated, but I will not allow you to stay in that rut. You have got to get up, dust yourself off, study the problem, study the solution, and then take another fucking cut. Get back up to the plate and swing again, man. At some point, you will connect. If you just persevere, they can't stop you. At some point, you will pass, and it'll be done. And you know it'll be a great story.
Yep.
And that's part of the joke. You can even take my whole attempted joke at computer programmers failing their way into success and just use that bit and say, yep, I started that pattern and that wonderful tradition in college.
Yep.
It's worked my way through. But congratulations, my friend, for being almost there, 99% of the way there. Regroup, take a breath, come back at it, study the problem, find the solution. Do not give up. And when you finish this, you need to write back into the show and let us know you did it. Okay? That's the accountability. Let us know because we want to celebrate with you, okay?
Yep. We're just looking for any excuse we can to celebrate.
Yeah, honestly, we're going to drink it. But it's cheers to you. We also probably need you to fix our computers at some point. Really great. We keep clicking links that we should not be clicking. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about back-burnering priorities. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Robert Brownie, Jr. Mintz, Kayla Lansbury, Kevin Chamberlain, Ben Stanley, Adam Hathaway, Dan Martin, Lib, and Heyo.
Heyo.
And if you'd like to sponsor the show, become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy. Let's move on into science.
Ooh, you're fucked.
Marie Curie.
Yeah, shit. I forgot I got that one wrong. Was she not involved in the spectrometry of light or
I
whatever?
don't think so. Not that I know of.
She also did the
I
prism
don't.
thing.
I'm not an expert on Marie Curie, but I don't think so.
According to myth, which vegetable should you consume if you want to see better in the
Buzz.
dark?
Oh, are we buzzing in?
I felt like
Go
buzzing.
for it.
Carrots.
I was going to say carrots too.
My son explained to me where this whole myth started, and it had to do with England wanting...
Does it lead to you answering the question?
It
at
is
all?
carrots.
Okay.
But there's a fun story
Okay.
that the English wanted the people to eat carrots, but carrots were considered a poor, gross food, but they wanted them to eat it. So they started spreading this rumor that it helped you see better in the dark because they were lights out trying to hide from the German onslaught, right? So they were trying to turn off all the lights. So people were being told, oh, carrots help you see better. And they were also trying to get them to eat the carrots because they had a lot of supply of that and they didn't have as much supply about other things.
Okay.
You're
I
right,
feel I
Jim.
should be
That
given
is
a
a
point
fun.
for that.
That is a fun story.
Yeah, it really takes you back,
Yeah.
to appreciate the good old times.
Too bad I got the point for buzzing in first.
Shit.
All right.
Well, Nick still has to answer.
Carrots.
Shit.
Which psychologist performed a famous experiment involving a dog and a bell?
Oh, Buzz.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Come on.
Do it.
Come on. Just say the answer.
Where are you now, tough guy?
Yeah.
Right out.
Yeah.
It's the guy
Come
that,
on.
you
Let's
rang
hear
the
it.
bell, the dog salivated.
Yeah, that one, yeah. Who was that?
I'll give you a letter if it'll help.
Thank you.
B.
Is that a letter in his name or just a random letter?
It's just a random letter.
That's what I thought. Oh, yeah. His name was in my head when I said Buzz, and then I forgot his name.
Yep.
It's a blank response.
Schrodinger is.
Nope, that's
no, I'm
quantum
saying
physics.
he's the guy with the it's both there and not there.
Let him do his math.
Yeah.
you'll get there. Show your work.
Oh, geez.
Can I give him a hint?
Yeah, he was Russian.
That doesn't help.
Yeah, it definitely does.
It's
it gives you
a-
how the name ends.
Blankian response.
That's not going to help him at all.
It kind of helps.
No, it's not.
The rhythm of it.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. What is it?
Pavlov.
Pavlovian response. Yes.
There it is.
Pavlov's dog.
My
Yeah.
hint was kind of helpful. I think that was.
I mean, I didn't
leaning
get
in
it,
the
but
right
sure.
way. Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
What was the father of genetics, Greg Mendel's occupation?
Oh, I know this.
What?
He was a monk or a priest. I think monk would be fine. But yeah, he was a monk.
I'm hearing you say priest. He was a monk.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm going to say monk.
1 point
Yeah.
for me and Jacob.
Okay,
All right.
That's fair.
Was he also a Nazi, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Somebody else. He was, I think he was a monk in...
Somebody with a name similar to that who was like a this is a weird sounding phrase, but a famous Nazi.
There were a few.
Yeah.
I think you're thinking of Goebbels.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's it. That was the famous
Yeah.
Nazi.
I think he sold baby food.
That...
Go ahead.
The
Go
most
buy some
famous
baby
thing
food.
he did was selling baby food.
Okay.
You do not want to know what it's made of.
No.
Okay. Which state has the most tornadoes on average?
Oh, shit.
Oklahoma?
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, that's my guess.
think
Is
you're going to be
Oklahoma.
right, but I'm going to take Texas.
You got more surface area to work
I
with.
think that's where I'm going with this. But you know
All
what?
right.
I think Missouri is going to be really
Missouri's
close,
up
too.
there.
I think it's going to be. So I'm going to take Texas just for the square footage.
All right.
It is Texas.
Wow.
Yes. Why you like me now, Whitney? Woo! Your home state sucks. Also, I used to live there too.
Okay, I think that's where we're going to end it, because some of these rusties
God,
are
dude, I remember
dumb.
fucking tornadoes. Those things were terrifying. I'm
Oh, they are unpleasant.
cast iron tub and
Yeah.
open up all the windows.
We had enough in Louisiana that it was scary.
They're awful. It's
Yeah,
just
we didn't have them every year or anything. Like some places have them every goddamn year,
Yeah, yeah,
and we didn't have that. But we'd get them every so often.
yeah. I don't
When
like.
I was in, I think, high school, a town like 45 minutes drive from us, a small little town, was basically just completely destroyed.
I remember Joplin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joplin got wiped off the map. Like,
Oh,
just
yeah.
absolutely destroyed.
I have a friend who was there in that storm. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Grew up in Joplin, and yeah, I got out.
Wow.
Or I don't know. I assume took shelter and then, but I mean, survived is what I mean by got out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Nick?
Yeah, I have a friend in Parkersburg, Iowa. They got hit with an F5. I think it was the same summer as Joplin. It was like
Iowa
right before.
gets tornadoes?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Okay.
I think a lot of places get tornadoes.
Yeah,
It's just-
pretty much.
You don't get them all
They
the
don't
time.
like
plains.
Minnesota doesn't get very many.
Yeah.
Iowa does. Missouri gets more. Kansas definitely gets more. Oklahoma, like
Boy.
the further south you go,
Yeah.
it seems like it's
Minnesota
The warmer you get, I
getting
think.
a tornado feels not
We had
possible.
Iowa had a tornado
Ice
in
tornado
January
is a horror show.
or
That does
December.
sound. That
I
sounds
think.
like
Yeah.
a great spoof movie, like Sharknado.
Yeah.
yeah. I would. Ice.
No, but like
tornado
ice
sounds-
tornadoes and then every now and then
Blizzado.
you see video footage of like a tornado hitting, like a grain silo and something
Oh,
ignites.
yeah.
And then you have like the flaming
Fire
tornadoes.
tornado.
Yeah, those are two variants of the old tornado that are
Yeah.
even less pleasant.
No, it's already improving on a terrible thing. Prioritizing needs from Froyog. Hey friends, it's been a while since the last time I wrote in. So much has changed. My Taco Bell order is just burritos now since I got a little burned out on cheesy gordita crunches. Told you, Jim.
I still am not burnt out on the cheesy gordita crunch.
Really?
I think I've paced myself.
yeah.
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I think I went too hard on
I don't
it.
go very often.
Okay,
but
what's your
I
Taco
love
Bell
it.
order? What will you get?
It's definitely the cheesy gordita crunch.
Okay.
And then I'll usually get 2 of those.
Okay.
And then I'll throw in like a beef chalupa.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with
Yeah.
chalupa.
But that's like $20 now.
It is very expensive.
Holy
for those
shit.
things. I get the Crunch Wrap Supreme.
Oh, interesting.
That's that hockey puck thing where it's like
yeah.
it's like a
Yeah,
hexagon.
yeah.
And oh my god, that thing! It's basically just a soft taco supreme, but wrapped in a hexagon.
Yeah.
which I think makes it taste better. Honestly,
All right.
Got a crispy shell in there. What's your Taco Bell order?
Quesadilla.
Okay,
Chicken quesadilla.
get the chicken quesadilla.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong there.
That's right.
If you get that from like Roberto's or Don Tortaco, our greasy spoon Mexican
Yeah.
joints, the quesadilla is sopping wet.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't.
If you get a
care
quesadilla
for
from
that.
any of those, you end up having to eat it with a knife and fork.
It is a soup. Yeah, it is definitely a liquid.
Yeah.
Great question, Froyog. Thanks for writing in.
Bravo!
3 for 3. All right.
we're done.
Good job, everybody.
Full show. We're doing great. Thanks for sponsoring us. Last time I wrote in, I was struggling with the recent loss of my grandma, worry over my brother's physical health, and wondering how to navigate my complicated relationship with my mother. Whoo boy, did things get wild soon after. My brother's health turned out to be the result of substance abuse. He attacked our mother during a psychotic break that was nearly worse than it was. He spent about a year in county jail.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, that sentence took me a second to digest.
Yeah, it was bad. He spent about a year in county jail awaiting trial, entered a plea that resulted in 2 years probation and time in rehab, and a no-contact order between him and Mom. He seems to be doing better. My mom and I are in a better place now. She and I had a really beautiful conversation at my cousin's wedding where she managed to find me a gallon of milk at the hardware store. Nice.
Reference to Jim's book.
Yes, which makes incorrect claims about how if you want milk, you should not shop at a hardware store. So
Because he's never been to a Menards.
Yeah, apparently not. But Froyo's saying that in a very unlikely twist of events, a person who usually does not have anything good to offer offered something good. I started therapy back in January. Much of the session talk was about the previous year's events. We worked on a couple of other things, really happy with the therapist and the progress. We vibed pretty well. Back to my brother. Recently, my dad passed away. It was lung cancer. My brother attended the funeral after Mom asked for a suspension of the no-contact order. Neither Mom nor I are in a place where we're capable of getting close to my brother again. But he deserved to say goodbye to Dad. While he was in attendance, my brother and I hugged and talked a little while. He mentioned feeling the weight of the hurt he caused on the way down his spiral. I told him to keep taking his meds, keep working the program, and to demonstrate his effort to do better. People will see the effort, and they may come around. All this is context for my question. So much of my therapy journey has been talking about current events in my life and the impact they're actively having on me. I have some personal goals I'd also like to work on in therapy. My question is, do I back burner current things to approach my long-term concerns, burn through current events in the hope that they slow down or coincide with my long-term concerns, or try to manage current and long-term concerns concurrently? How would you all advise a client prioritizing their care? Is this something a therapist should be taking the lead on with me? I look forward to your answers here. With love and thanks for everything I get from Nick, Jim, Whitney, and the world's greatest life coach, Jacob.
Woohoo!
Justin Froyog, if you're nasty.
I'm nasty.
I love this question.
Also, FYI, Justin wrote Jacob's theme song.
Fuck yeah, he did.
Yeah, I did. The masterpiece that is Jacob's.
Wrote and performed.
And performed. Yeah, it is glorious. So I hear this question saying, when you realize that you have dual tracks suddenly in therapy, like you have long-term things you want to work on, but then there are short-term current event things that are popping up in your life, and you're like, should I back burner the current stuff and stay on track? Should I detour into the current stuff and circle back around?
Detour.
What did I say?
Detour.
What did you say?
Detour.
What, Jacob, are these not the same fucking word? You're hearing the same thing.
You should keep on going.
Or do you do both at the same time? Detour. What are you saying?
Detour.
Shut up. It's not that. No, you're an idiot. I'm just mad. You're embarrassing yourself. That's what you're doing.
I love this question because there's so many different approaches, and I think there's so much nuance to it. It's really difficult to answer.
Yeah.
I think if I were your therapist, I would want to have a good understanding of what are the long-term goals. I do want to hear about what are the short-term issues that you're kind of dealing with right now, because in my mind, I'm kind of wondering, like, how are these connected?
Yes.
Are the short-term things, are the short-term things just a manifestation of the long-term issues?
Right.
It's just kind of like, this is how it's being displayed right now in this moment. Like example, like, trust issues with family members.
Right.
Like that's a pretty big deal. That's going to be a long-term goal that we're going to be working on. However, there could be little things that come up that could be, just a small manifestation of this larger problem. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we need to back burner some things, because maybe some of these are related. Mm. Now, in the situation where maybe they're not related, then you kind of do have to make a choice. And I guess that's up to you. And I don't think maybe there's a right or wrong answer, but I think you kind of just explain that to your therapist and you guys can kind of decide. Like there are some short-term things like I can think of where right now we're going to table long-term issues to deal with the short-term things. Right. This would be like huge traumatic events, death in the family.
Well, yeah, your father passing.
Yep.
We're talking about that in therapy.
That's now our priority. We put other stuff on the back burner because you've already been dealing with it for 20, 30 years or whatever. If we wait a little bit longer, it's not going to be that big of a deal. We should address this new thing that came up.
Yes.
There may be other things that come up that we're saying like, okay, yep, this is significant. However, I feel like if we attack the big thing first, it makes this current event a lot more manageable. And you can kind of navigate this because the coping skills that you're going to learn to manage these long-term issues are the same coping skills you're going to learn to deal with this short-term inconvenience.
Right. I agree. I feel like it all goes in the same crock pot.
Yeah.
You know, I do not think we can disentangle whatever your long-term realities are. If you're saying, yeah, you know, the thing I'm in therapy for is maybe career development or maybe, you know, character stuff or just, you know, personal faux pas and patterns that I need to work on for me. And I don't want to get distracted with all these things going on that are, you know, right on the side of the road here. I don't think we can disentangle those two things. Even if you don't see how they're related, they are going to be because they are both coming through your life. And, you know, however, even if you are just practicing the art of languaging your truth, experiences, emotions, and insight through these current events, that is in service of the larger goal, whether you realize it or not, because that is always part of what therapy is interested in.
Yep.
If it were me, if I were your therapist in this, these interesting, you know, short-term realities and family dynamics, I wouldn't allow you to skirt over them. I would be like, no, we are going to park here. This is because to me, this is grist for the mill. I mean, this is way too valuable to pass on, to stay focused on other things. And in fact, I might even worry in the back of my head that part of your coping skill is to focus on other things and overlook these out of control realities that you've faced. I mean, whenever you've had a brother who has been mentally ill and substance abusing and dangerous and, you know, parents where you've had a very, very complex past, a big coping skill you probably would have developed is I ignore the circus and think about myself and my life and focus on me. And that gives me a sense of control back. And, you know, I don't have to be affected by these humans. Well, and again, I'm not trying to make too many assumptions here, but I'm just saying based on what you've written in the past about and this, I think there's a lot of therapeutic value to parking here and absorbing this and really talking through this. And yes, sometimes looking over the fence at the insanity that we don't have control over, but now sitting here and dealing with that emotion productively. That way it doesn't spill over into other things. Because it does. I mean, everything is adjacent. Everything touches something on the perimeter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, even things that seem like they're completely unrelated, the fact that I'm dealing with this long-term issue affects the way that I deal with this short-term issue, even if they're completely disassociated. They have nothing to do with each other. The common thing that they have is me.
I'm it.
Yeah. And so the way that I think, the way I process information, the way I react, the way I deal with emotion, all of that is the common denominator for both long-term and short-term issues that I'm dealing with.
I think they're all in the same direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're just talking about pit stops, towns you visit on the way to your destination.
Which I will say for any therapist listening or any future therapists, this is where I'm going to get on my soapbox for just a minute and talk about the value.
Get back in your chair.
Why does he?
Let me get up here. Hold on. Let me get up here.
We can't hear you down here.
The value of having a treatment plan and using a treatment plan as a clinical intervention as opposed to just paperwork. If you've got a treatment plan and you're working from a treatment plan, it allows you to be able to address these long-term issues, but then also bring it back to the here and now. What am I doing today? What are the skills that I'm practicing today to move closer towards reaching my destination? And if new things pop up, death of a father,
right?
New things pop up, let's put that on the treatment plan.
Right.
And let's create another goal, let's create another objective. And we can actually see on paper how some of this overlaps with other things that we're already working on. So again, for any future therapists or any therapists that are listening, a treatment plan is a clinical intervention. It's not paperwork. If you use it like a clinical intervention, it will pay dividends in your work with your clients.
Yeah. And this is another great example of signposting the road that we're walking, being able to measure progress as we go. And that way we don't have to differentiate between long and short-term goals. They're all just goals. And we're weaving them into all this. But really glad to hear about some of the progress in the family situation, man. I mean, obviously, hearing that your brother has made a lot of growth, is a lot healthier, is working on those amends. And I think the advice you gave to your brother was spot on. You know, just telling him, hey, make it up to us, work on it. You know,
the thing
get
that
healthy.
Here's the thing that I really like that you did, Froyo. I love that you didn't go to him. You laid out a path for him to come to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important for anybody that has a family member that is dealing with addiction and they're, entering recovery and they're trying to make amends and all of this. The family member shouldn't go to the addict, alcoholic. They should be able to plot out a path that they can get to you. So yes, I'm supportive. Yes, I would love to have you back in my life. Here's what you would need to do in order to do that.
Right.
Here are some things that, I can help you navigate, but I'm not going to walk this path up to where you're at.
No.
You need to walk this path to where I'm at. And I think you did a really good job with that.
It's like Elliot luring E.T. down a path with Reese's Pieces.
It's exactly like that.
Yeah.
That's what Froyo did, and is the world is better for it.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's damn, that was deep. Yeah, I just
Thank you. Thank you.
I feel touched by your finger light.
Yeah. I think Justin just got life coached.
Yeah, I think you did.
That's fine. Just been life coached.
Well played, Froyog. Well played. One of our favorite jingles. Great to hear things are going well. One of.
Name a better one.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
All
Our
the other
favorite
ones,
jingle.
All the other ones are just shitting on me. So, no, I guess I prefer that one.
Oh, this one where you just learned a thing.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah. That's one that celebrates
celebrated
me,
you.
leaving ignorance behind.
That's
It is a
right.
triumphant anthem. Yeah, that I have arrived.
Our pal Jim done learned a thing.
As we wrap up the show, we want to remind you, you can sign up at patreon.com/therapy. You can get the extended show ad-free a day earlier, as well as enjoy our live chat Discord community and our weekly deep dives, interviews, skill shares, research, roundups, and rants. And we've got some new friends to welcome to the Theraparty. Who's joining us, Nick?
We've got Jeff Michaels.
I feel like it's Michael's, but I'm not mad about the Mitchells.
Yes. We got Wolfie05. We agree on that one.
I think that's fine.
And Chris.
It isn't Cries?
I think it's Chris. It might be Chris.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either way, we are very appreciative
Thank you.
of all of you.
Thank you for joining us. Want to thank our partners, Dirty B, Myra, and Pickett, and our bosses, the mysterious and shrouded Illuminati members of the fan club, the Thera producers. Thank you, Jake Schneider, Robert Brownie, Jr. Mint, Smitty Scoop, Ben Dawn, Judy Schneider, Kayla Lansbury, Mrs. and Mr. Hot Dog Scoop, Malia, Leon Kassab, Mason Miller, Richard Macy, Carolyn Albert, Kevin Chamberlain, Tess Miller, Sammy Scoop, Ben Stanley Slap in Your Face, Sarah Smith, Adam Hathaway, Byler T, University Jeff, Mike Helm, Paris, Samantha Cohn, Darren Cunningham, Lib, Team Monaco, Thunder Cougar, Falcon Scoop, Matt and Lisa Tangeman, Heyo, Oscar Swanrose, A Sunny Boy, Slurpee Kaye, motherfucker, Sandra McWaffle, Dan Martin, and Hannah Marie.
And if you'd like to do this episode uncut and unedited,
And why wouldn't you?
Nice.
and enjoy our spontaneous
move. I like
side
that.
projects, check out the Patreon version of the show. I would describe it as laying on a bear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
Or
Right?
barely laying, I guess. It's another way to say
No, I think that's
that.
an apt comparison.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's just correct. That is all the time that we've got for this week's session. Want to thank our landlords, Matt Mattingly's Ice Cream Social Podcast, and thanks to those of you contributed to our show today. We really appreciate it. Remember, pod therapy isn't something to keep all to yourself. Share this with the world. Tag us on the socials. When you do, it's at PodTherapyGuys on Twitter, Threads, and Instagram. It's /PodTherapy on Facebook. And don't forget about all the extra goodies at patreon.com/therapy.
And if you want to submit a question to the show, you should definitely do that. You can ask anonymously at podtherapy.net, or you can email us directly at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. I'm Nick Tangeman.
I'm Jim Jobin.
Thanks, and we'll see you for your appointment next week.
I'm Tornado Texas Whitney. Yeehaw!
I'm Whitney.
This is CNN.